You do it every single day, right? Tapping your card, swiping your phone, or clicking buy now online. It feels totally instant. But behind that simple tap is this hidden, high-tech world that makes it all possible. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and follow the invisible journey your money takes. Seriously, think about it for a second. You tap your card at the coffee shop and bam, approved. It's over in, what, 2 or 3 seconds? But what's actually happening in that tiny window of time? It's one of the most complex, high-stakes operations we all just completely take for granted. The best way to picture it is like a relay race. A message with your payment info is the baton, and it has to get passed between a whole team of runners, banks, networks, security systems, all at lightning speed. And here's the kicker, they absolutely cannot drop the baton. So let's break down that first moment, that little bit of magic. We're going to call it the 2-second miracle. This is everything that happens from the moment you tap your card to that satisfying ding that says you're good to go. The starting gun fires with what's called transaction initiation. That's just you presenting your payment method, tapping that card, or typing your details into a website. The system instantly grabs this information, and the first handoff is ready to go. Okay, so right away, something incredibly clever happens to keep your information safe. It's called tokenization. Instead of sending your actual 16-digit card number across the internet, the system swaps it out for a unique one-time use code. That's the token. And this just shows you why that's so important. Sending your raw card data is basically like shouting your credit card number in a crowded room. It's super high risk. But a token? That's more like a secure, single-use ticket. Even if someone intercepts it, it's totally useless to them. Here's another great way to think about it. The token is like a valet key for your bank account. It gives the system just enough access to park this one specific transaction, but it doesn't hand over the keys to your entire financial life. For businesses and for you, this is a huge deal for security. All right, token in hand, the race is on. We're now entering the next phase, the authorization gauntlet. This is where that little token has to run through a whole series of checkpoints to get approval, and it has to do it in just a couple of seconds. So who are all the runners in this relay race? Well, it's a whole team. You've got the merchant and their bank, you and your bank, and then these really critical middlemen, like the payment gateway and the card network, like Visa or MasterCard. We'll see what each one does as we go. Now let's just quickly clarify two of those key players. The payment gateway is like the secure front door. It's what captures and tokenizes your info. The payment processor, on the other hand, is the messenger. It takes that secure token and zips it through all the financial networks to get the thumbs up. And the speed is it's mind-blowing. The request flies from the gateway, through the card network, all the way to your bank, and back again. Each leg of that journey takes just fractions of a second. This entire gauntlet is run in less time than it takes you to blink. Now, when the request finally hits your bank, that's the issuing bank, it runs a series of instant checks. It's asking, hey, do they have the money or credit? Is this card even valid? And importantly, does this purchase look legit or does it seem like fraud? Based on those checks, your bank sends back a simple message, approved or declined. But here's a super important point. An approval does not mean the merchant has been paid. All it means is that your bank has put a temporary hold on those funds, basically setting them aside for this purchase. So you got the approval, but the money's journey is far from over. In fact, this brings us to the most important part of the whole process, the huge difference between getting that approved message and the merchant actually getting paid. After that authorization, the merchant has to perform a step called capture. This is them telling the system, okay, I'm officially ready to collect the money you put on hold for me. With online stores, this often happens when your item ships, not right when you click buy. This slide really breaks it down perfectly. Authorization is that instant hold. Think of it like making a hotel reservation. But settlement is the actual movement of money from your bank to the merchant's bank. That's like checking out and paying the final bill. So why the delay? Why does settlement take 1 to 3 business days? Well, it happens in these huge batches, usually overnight. It's just way more efficient for banks to process one giant batch of millions of transactions at once, instead of making millions of tiny individual money transfers all day long. All right, so the money is finally on its way. But how does this entire journey officially come to an end? Let's take a look at the final stages that close the loop on the whole transaction. So here it is, the whole shebang from start to finish. We've seen the initiation and that lightning-fast authorization. The next big steps are clearing and settlement. That's when the funds actually move. And the whole thing wraps up with reconciliation for the business. Now, reconciliation might sound like boring accounting stuff, but for a business, it is absolutely essential. This is where they use dashboards from their processor to match up all the payments that have settled with their own sales records, making sure every single penny is accounted for. But wait, there's actually one more potential step, kind of like an escape hatch for the consumer. It's called a chargeback. This is a super powerful tool where if you dispute a charge, the whole process can be investigated and maybe even reversed, pulling the money right back from the merchant. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? This incredibly complex, invisible system is the absolute foundation of modern commerce. The whole thing is built to make sure money can move from anyone to anywhere, both safely and reliably. So next time you tap to pay, just remember that the 2-second approval you see is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's the exciting finish of a high-speed sprint for sure, but it's only the beginning of a much longer, more complicated journey for your money. The entire global economy really runs on this delicate dance between trust and technology. So the next time you're about to make a purchase, what part of this hidden journey are you going to be thinking about?